Good morning. We are going to move on and we're going to skip D5 and go to D6 for today. We're going to be talking about scales. And a scale drawing is a proportional, two-dimensional drawing of an object. A good example of this would be a map, would be an example of a scale drawing. So whenever you're looking at a map, you usually will see that it says 1 centimeter is equal to, 50 miles. Okay, and that would be a scale drawing. Now, a scale model is a proportional three-dimensional model of an object. For instance, let's say that you go and visit some type of monument like the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., and you get a little model of it to put on your desk. That's an example of a scale model. All right? So the measurements in scale drawings and models are proportional to the measurements of the actual object. The scale gives the ratio that compares the measurement of the drawing or model with the actual measurements. So here would be an example right here, 1 inch to 10 miles. So in the drawing, 1 inch is going to be equal to 10 miles in the actual. Most often when we see these scales, you'll notice that there are different units. We've got inches and we've got miles. And sometimes we will change it all to the same unit, and that's a scale factor. But first we'll just take a look at scales and then we'll move to scale factor. So here is our first example. And oh look, we have a scale drawing. We have this map here of Michigan. So it says, what is the actual distance D between Cadillac and Detroit? Well, if we look over here, we know that 1 centimeter for every 50 miles. So 1 centimeter for every 50 miles. That is the scale that they give us for this drawing. So if we use our centimeter ruler and we measure, we can see that the distance is about 3.5 centimeters. So if we use our 1 centimeter per 50 miles, and we know this proportional, it is equal to 3.5 centimeters D. That's the distance that we're actually looking for. So in lesson D4, we learned to solve for unknowns in proportions. And remember, there's two different ways that you can do it. If you can easily go from here to here using multiplication times 3.5, you can do the same thing here and times 3.5. That was one way that you could solve for that unknown. Remember, the other way is where we cross here and we cross here. So we know that 1D, which 1D is actually just D, right? So 1D is equal to the 3.5 times 50. All right. So either way, whether we look at it this way, we're going to be multiplying this 50 times 3.5, or if we look at it to solve for D, we're going to be multiplying 3.5 times 50. So that's what we need to do to solve for that distance. So let me see, I need to make some room so we can do our multiplication here. So now I'm ready to do my 50 times 3.5, and that'll give me my D. So 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 5 is 25. Cross that out, put down your 0. 3 times 0 is 0, and 3 times 5 is 17. Or 15. Let me go ahead and fix that. I was already getting ready to add there. All right, so 0 and 0 is 0. 5 and 0 is 5. 2 and 5 is 7. And 1 and nothing is 1. And since we have one decimal spot here, we have 1 in our answer. So we know that D is going to equal 175 miles. There we go. So now that is our actual distance between Cadillac and Detroit using our scale. If we take a look at our next example, it says a scale can be written without units when the units are the same. The value of the ratio is called the scale factor. The scale factor describes the multiplicative relationship between the dimensions of a scale drawing or scale model and the dimensions of the actual object. So for the scale factor, that's when we take it into the same units. If we look at these examples, not the same units. We've got inches and miles. In this one, it was not the same. We have centimeters and miles. So what we're going to be doing is taking it into the same units to get our scale factor. A scale model of Sergeant Floyd Monument is 10 inches tall. The actual monument is 100 feet tall. So once again, we're in those different units. So you can see right here, they have told us that there are 10 inches and in the model, and the actual is 100 feet. Okay. Now we're going to take that down into a scale of 1 inch is equal to how many feet? So I've got 1 inch. So how did I get from 10 to 1? I divided by 10. So I'm going to do the same thing, 100 divided by that 10, and I get 10. So I know the scale is 1 inch to 10 feet. That gives me that scale of the model to the actual. Now to get this scale factor, I need to get it in the same units because I'm still in inches to feet here, and I want to get it all into the same. So I know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Now, in my scale, if I take it to 10 feet, I multiplied here by 10. So if I multiply here by 10, I get 120 inches. Which tells me then that for every 1 inch, that is going to be 120 inches of the actual. So this is the model. This is the actual. Now notice that I have it into the same unit. 1 inch of the model is going to be to 120 inches of the actual. So our scale factor would be 1/120th for our scale factor. And notice when I wrote it 1/120th, I did not have to write the units because a scale can be written without units when the units are the same if we look up here. And the value of this ratio is called the scale factor. So once you can get it into the same units, then it is a scale factor and you no longer have to write that you're talking about inches. So what you're going to be doing today, you're going to be doing some sample problems. You'll be finding some distances on a map. You'll be finding scale factors as well. If you have any questions, feel free to email me so that I can help you out. And you'll go on to your big ideas online, do those sample problems, and then you'll be done for the day. Have a great day.